Today I'm in Lisbon, one of the oldest cities in Europe, and going through incredible economic change, particularly in the property market. The population of Lisbon is 2.83 million, and by 2025 that will have risen to 3 million. As you know in IP Global, we love young populations in these cities that really drive up the economy and the housing requirements. Economically, Lisbon is extremely important to Portugal. 3 million people came here last year and contributed 14 billion euros of revenue to the economy. Beyond that, 45% of GDP for the whole nation is generated here in Lisbon, and 29% of the working population of the whole country live in this one city. It seems in this day and age, for a city to really make it, it needs to invest heavily on digital. We've seen it in London, we've seen it in Berlin, and IP Global's invested a lot in those cities because of digital enterprise and driving up revenue into this new gig economy that we're seeing around the world. Lisbon is absolutely no exception to that. With over 300 million of revenue in the last 5 years in the digital economy and 400 new startups, you can see they're really driving into the future.
Portugal investment has started more or less in 2012 when the Golden Visas project started, and investment and investors started to come to Portugal because they could obtain Portuguese citizenship for him and their families. After that, mainly since 2018, investment has bloomed, mainly because of social life and cultural life. Google's in Portugal, startups are blooming, and so real estate investment is the way to invest.
Portugal has foreigner-friendly mortgages with 60 to 80% loan to value, and at the moment 2% variable interest rates, one of the cheapest mortgage markets in Europe. That's driven 150,000 property transactions in 2018 alone in Lisbon. When we first came to Lisbon to look at real estate 12, 18 months ago and started investigating the market, it was obvious this place was on the rise, but people started talking to us about Porto, the second city of Portugal, home to 1.3 million people. We started looking at Porto as well, and the property story there is really quite interesting. Porto is very famous for tourism, of course, and for sport, for football, as everybody knows. But with manufacturing and exports, and looking at the success the property market's had in Lisbon, a lot of money now is finding its way into the Porto market because of 50, 60, 70% cheaper than properties in Lisbon. With over €500 million invested in infrastructure, in the new metro line between Lisbon and Porto, you're going to see a lot more inward investment into real estate in the next few years in Porto.